We are talking about The Celestine Prophecy, a novel full of truth, those truths that we ignore every day, but that since childhood the writer himself, James Redfield, has always needed to know. James Redfield is an American writer born in Birmingham, Alabama, on March 19, 1950. He studied Eastern philosophies and at the same time he graduated in sociology from the University of Auburn. In 1989, the author decided to leave his job as psychotherapist to devote himself full-time to writing, also deepening his interest in history and psychology. In 1993, Redfield published The Celestine Prophecy, an adventure. The Celestine Prophecy is a novel that combines amazing events with spiritual allegories. The book tells the story of the adventures of an American psychologist, John, in the discovery of an ancient manuscript found in the rainforest of Peru, which contains the so-called 9 insights on human existence. Enchanted by a friend's story, John decides to embark on a journey to Peru. Once the existence of the manuscript is proven, the protagonist has to face the first difficulties. The government and the church are opposed to disseminating its content because they argue that the manuscript goes against the traditions of their religion. In light of this, they try at all costs to destroy it and persecute those who have copies. However, thanks to a system of life coincidences and meetings with the various characters along the way, the protagonist gradually manages to learn about all the 9 insights. The sudden and abrupt intervention of the church and the government forced him to return to the United States. At home, he could finally spread the new vision of the world and devote himself to the search for the 10th insight. The book has been a huge success, so much so that in 2006 the film is released in theaters entitled The Celestine Prophecy, directed by Armand Mastroianni and the screenplay and production by James Redfield himself. The plot of the film has not undergone a great upheaval. However, as often happens, the film is not up to the paper version, because several scenes and important conversations have not been reported in the film version. In the book, the deep spiritual messages are analyzed more accurately, while the film seems to hint at them superficially. The film can therefore only be considered a supplement that clarifies some complex concepts, as it is easier to understand them in a film than to read them. The book was a real turning point in the 90s. Redfield focused the story on spirituality inspired by Gnosticism and some of the ideas in vogue in the New Age. Its widest theme is precisely that of the evolution of the human being, not physical but spiritual, in search of himself. Every human being can emanate a flow of positive energy for himself and to strengthen others, but man has always considered it easier to absorb it from other people, appropriating it in a spiral of infinite prevarication. This is the cause of all interpersonal conflicts. Redfield argues that the prevention of these conflicts through a connection with the divine is the solution to the problem of violence and supremacy. The book focuses on the belief that some or all of the continents are not random, but have a meaning. Therefore, we must value dreams, fantasies, and intuitions as they reveal the way forward. The human being is wrong in thinking that spirituality is already understood. It evolves, and it is up to us to discover the truth. Everyone is heading somewhere, but no one knows what the purpose is. Everyone is involved in the process of evolution to discover who we are and to understand our task, but nobody knows yet. When a large number of people become mindful of the previous insights and work towards fulfilling their spiritual destiny, our way of life will dramatically change. For this work, I choose to analyze this book because it was advised by my father, who was also impressed by the extraordinary uniqueness. I must admit that in my life there have not been many books that have fascinated me, sometimes for the plot, sometimes for the method of writing, but this time I read this book in a single week. The curiosity to discover which adventures awaited the protagonist, but above all which insights were revealed, led me to finish one chapter after another. The book is enlightening because I have identified myself with the character. Sometimes it can be difficult to understand some theories that are too philosophical, but this is not the case because the writing is simple and the language suitable for everyone. Human abuse of power and violence are not acceptable forms in our society, and anyone who wants to see in life a better, more spiritual sense can only share the concepts expressed in this book. In fact, the author states, if you find yourself reading this book, then perhaps you already sense what is happening, already feel it inside.